going on, dudes and dudettes? So yes, other than the draft, there was some pretty big news that happened on the USC women's basketball side. It looks like they did extend the contract on Lindsey Gottlieb, the main head coach, till I believe the years 2029 through 2030, which is pretty cool. Did I say 2022 or 2029? I'm pretty sure I said 2029. But yes, basically to the end of this decade, which is pretty nice. Obviously, she definitely earned it, well deserved, and as long as she keeps bringing in the high talent to come to play at USC, no matter if Juju is going to be there or not, then maybe that's the only reason why you wait. But she was still a pretty good coach on her own right before she got the USC job, so it's definitely a big time get for this USC basketball program. And then, yes, the other day there was a top 5-star player from Kentucky. His name is DJ Wagner, who apparently is visiting USC this weekend or the past couple of days. And only relation I think he has with USC is that I think before both him and Juju Watkins, USC star women player, went to college, they basically went to different colleges, that they both went to their proms together, which is pretty cool. I don't know they're dating or all that stuff, or they're just cool friends and obviously in the basketball community and always were around each other and then went to each other's things. But it's pretty cool that he is visiting and at least has that connection. Maybe he wants to stick around to be with his friend, or maybe it's a girlfriend. You never know. So yeah, we'll see how this goes. It'll be a big time get for Eric Musselman and the men's program, but we'll obviously have to wait and see how this visit goes. And then after the first round yesterday, I believe out of all three, there's only one of USC, is one of three teams to have a player drafted within the common era or something like that. So since like 50s or 60s, 1950s or 60 something, that's when they call the common draft era. I don't know exactly what that means, but they've always had at least one player selected. And that already happened in the first round for all those schools, which is pretty cool. So definitely keeping the tradition alive with USC, and a couple more ended up happening pretty later. So I'll get into that for the rest of the video. And USC is apparently in second place behind only Ohio State when it comes to most players drafted in the first round. And obviously both schools had one player added to these numbers. That's pretty cool. After last night, or Monday, the first night of the draft, so that's always good. Obviously, USC had it first with Caleb Williams, but hoping to get a couple more future first-round picks in there for USC. And speaking of the USC players that were drafted on day 2 in the second and third round, yes, it became the Houston Texans drafting safety Kalen Bullock in round 3, pick number 78. So that was pretty cool for him. Obviously, it's a growing team. They definitely overachieved last year with their their rookie quarterback, CJ Stroud, and already made the playoffs. I think won that first game in the playoffs. So just to have him be added to what is already considered a pretty good team, and obviously that's why he slipped, because he's not always the best tackler and all that stuff, but he does take the ball away and kind of play that free safety role for them, hopefully. So good luck to him down there in Houston. And then the running back Marshawn Lloyd was picked pretty quick after that in round 3 with number 88 overall to the Packers. So that was pretty cool for him to go to Green Bay. I guess they needed a running back after Austin Jones was released and went to Minnesota. So that's pretty good for him to at least be able to try to get the starting job. I know A.J. Dillon is there still, I believe, so he'll be trying to get reps from him. But yeah, that's a pretty cool situation for those two USC guys. Sadly, only 2 on day 2, but we'll look to see if like Brandon Rice and a couple other guys will be getting drafted pretty soon on day 3. Then another Duke player was selected in that round 3 as well. It's the Buffalo Bills. He was a defensive lineman, Dwayne Carter, at pick number 95. So that's pretty good for him. I think he already has a chance to start and play alongside Ed Oliver, one of the starters already. So yeah, congrats to him. Obviously the second Duke guy. I think they definitely have a couple more guys that have a chance to get drafted the rest of the way in day 3. So looking forward to that. And yes, of all things, the Chargers, they did move up a couple spots in day 2. In the second round, they moved up, I think, only like 3 spots from 34 to 37, but that was the New England Patriots pick. And then they also traded their pick at 110 in the 4th round to New England for New England's round 5 pick at 137. So yeah, they did lose out on picking a pick early, but they did move up and were able to get one of their big targets, and that was the wide receiver Lloyd McConkey from Georgia, who obviously had first round picks or projections, so he was lucky that he did slip by, and they're still able to get one of the more talented wide receivers in this year's draft in the second round. So everybody who was crying that they didn't get one of the top guys, they should be pretty ecstatic about this pick, because he's one of the better players out there at that position and did really good for the Georgia Bulldogs when he was out there. So yeah, definitely looking forward to seeing him and Justin Herbert connect later this fall. And then yes, later in the 3rd round, they did pick up another player, and this was the first Michigan player Jim Harbaugh's era. In round 3, pick number 69 was the linebacker Junior Colson, who I'm pretty sure in one of my mocks I had him. Don't remember exactly, that was a couple of days now ago, but yes, one of the more targeted guys around this area. He could have maybe been targeted in the 2nd round, but that probably would have been a reach if Harbaugh thought he wasn't going to be able to get him in the 3rd round. But a lot of the scouts and everybody on the staff wanted him, especially at number 3 when they saw he was still available. So yes, it's definitely going to be one of the leaders of the defense and maybe the whole team, because he was one of the best players and leaders of that Michigan team that won and went undefeated this last season. So yes, very happy, very excited that they finally got a main leading linebacker for their defense, especially in a defense he's already used to with the same defensive coordinator from Michigan. So yeah, all signs point to this being a great pick, a very valuable pick in the 3rd round. So yeah, it's definitely very happy about that. And then yeah, the couple of day 3 guys that I'm still sort of interested in. Kind of surprised that there was a cornerback from Iowa State, TJ Tampa, that kept falling. He was projected maybe late 1st, definitely early 2nd to mid 2nd, but he still hasn't been picked. So I don't know if there's off the field issues or some type of injury, but it's pretty crazy. So I kind of thought the last 2 times the Chargers were up, they would have picked him, but they did not. So maybe they could pick him going into that 4th round, and it definitely would be a value pick for a guy who should have been picked a lot higher. Another guy they should be interested in that's still available, tight end Cade Stover from Ohio State, one of the better tight ends still available. It's not maybe the most prolific at catching the ball, but still blocked very well. Still a good enough receiver in my opinion. Another player, defensive lineman Brandon Dorless from Oregon, very athletic defensive lineman guy, which will work very well Jesse Minter's defense. Another player would be obviously the wide receiver Brendan Rice from USC. I know he loved his visit with the Chargers that he talked about in a press conference or an interview as well afterwards, so that's pretty good. Another player is the cornerback Cam Hart from Notre Dame. Obviously has ties to some of the coaching staff, so that could be a guy they look at in day 3. Another cornerback, Chris Abrams-Drain from Missouri, was one of the guys I thought would get at least selected in the 3rd round. Still available, so we'll see where they go from there defensively. And then another player could be the running back Jalen Wright from Tennessee, still available. One of the better pass-catching running backs out there, still very fast. We'll see. Another tight end, Theo Johnson, a very athletic tight end from Penn State. Can block pretty good, but very good athletically and catching the ball. Just needs more reps, so we'll see what they do there. And then a couple of last players, offensive lineman Mason McCormick is still available from South Dakota State, who I said before was a very athletic offensive lineman, which are the type that Jim Harbaugh likes in his scheme. And then also last player, Leonard Taylor from Miami, the defensive lineman who is projected always to be pretty high, maybe late 1st, early 2nd, but still available. It might fall even farther, so maybe they take a chance on him late. You never know. Thanks for watching, people. Like and subscribe. Comment down below. Let me know what y'all think. Have a great rest of your day. Bye. Bolt up.